What's up everyone, in this video I'll be showing you my Create Aeronautics Octocopter, the Cetus 2. So here it is. It runs off two huge diesel engines from diesel generators. It has a pretty moderately sized tank here. It has a couple of other add-ons which you can get from the description. Now if I want to fly this, what I have to do is I have to flick off this lever on the front which turns the diesel engines on, get in the seat, and then I can raise this throttle lever here to start the engines, and I'll slowly rise up. I find 7 to be pretty good to get over small terrain. Now how do you control this? It uses ℂ𝕣𝕖𝕒𝕒𝕒, just like my last ship. But this is a bit different. W and S make you go forwards and back. A and D make you yaw left and right. But Q and E actually roll you left and right, which something this airship over here couldn't do. Now the flying experience of this drone is very customizable. Using these torsion springs you can change how far the drone pitches forward when you move, and you can obviously just turn down the RPM of the system if you want a more docile flight. Now this is pretty straightforward to fly. Feel free to modify the controls to whatever you feel like, but I find these ones are the most fitting for me. You could have them on two hands like a real drone, but I find that this just feels a little bit more intuitive. Now speaking of a real drone, this thing is basically in what a normal drone would call angle mode, as in when you try to move forward it has a maximum angle and it'll always try to stay at that angle when you're going forwards, unlike acrobatic mode or acro mode where doing a forward input will make it roll continuously forward until you let go. Now I could theoretically do that and I wouldn't need all of this redstone here, but I think that for most people this is what you'd want. Now I'm just gonna go and bring it back down to land with all my other Aeronautics doohickeys. Now the tune on this isn't perfect. It does oscillate quite a bit on lower throttle levels, which I haven't quite figured out how to fix, and it does rely quite heavily on lever tight just for it not to spin out of control when in high Y levels. Now something that I didn't showcase before was that this drone can be flown in first person view or FPV. So if I turn this drone on, the first thing I have to do is turn this throttle lever on, and this throttle lever completely off just so they don't override each other. Then I have to turn on all of these televisions. Now I should be able to fly it just like I normally would. I don't know what it is, just with this world I've been getting a ton of visual bugs. But this is definitely pilotable. I haven't noticed this in any other world, by the way. Possibly something with a new Vista update, but I've got no idea what's going on. Now this will only work inside of loaded chunks. I haven't found a good mod that loads chunks on sub-levels so you can fly this outside of your render distance. This is still pretty fun to fly, not my main way I'd fly it, but I'm just going to try and get this landed now. I have no idea what it is with these visual bugs. If I land that, I can turn off these televisions. Turn the lever off. Yeah, if anyone in the comments could tell me what's causing that, I've genuinely got no clue. Something with Vista maybe? Now you can refuel it via this docking connector here. I just got 4 water wheels, giant tank of biodiesel. I can turn this on. You could probably use ropes for this in survival, but I'm lazy. I'm just going to use the staff. This lever here, I did not mean to do that. Get it aligned, and now they're locked together, and biodiesel is pumping through into the tank when it's on. It needs to be on. Now, if there's no diesel in the engines and you want to get diesel into it just for the first time, what you'll need to do is you need to find the rotational speed controller and put a crank here. Then turn this down to a low RPM, like 16, and you should be able to crank it all by hand. Then you should be able to crank the diesel into these engines. Then you can turn that back up, flip this lever up here back on, and that should run like normal. Now schematicing this in shouldn't be that much of an issue. The only issue I've really found is with reassembling these swivel bearings. Sometimes just puts it in a completely random position. Now if your aircraft is leaning forward, back, left or right when it's supposed to be in a hover, you have these two valves here. There's one here, and there is one here. But what these actually do is these rotate the two gimbal sensors that are used to stabilize the aircraft. So tilting it back essentially makes it think that this is its level point. So as you can see now, it's level. So if the aircraft is leaning back, you want to tilt the gimbal sensor back as well, and vice versa. Now potentially you could remove this Levitite here if you want it to be pre-end fight, but that would cause a lot of issues with stabilization, and 8 blocks isn't really that much. Well, thanks for watching this little showcase I've made. I hope you'll enjoy this. You can download it in the description. I'll have a createmod.com link there. Feel free to check out any of my other videos and schematics as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.